My next guest built an app that can be found in the Shopify App Store. Now, this is a business model I haven't really talked about on the podcast before, but building an app that goes on an app store can be a great business model, and it can take off overnight. It just takes some upfront work. So what this app specifically does is it helps e-commerce brands, especially on Shopify, turn products into NFTs. We talk about more of that in the episode. But in this episode, we talk about where they're at on their journey, how much revenue they're generating today, and what needs to happen for this app to really take off and go viral. All right, let's get into it. Please welcome Eric Mchugh. Eric, welcome to the show.
Thanks, man. Really excited to be here. Appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining me. So why don't you kick us off and tell us about your background?
Well, nice to meet everyone. My name is Eric. I'm 30 years old. I'm blessed to be living in beautiful Southern California right now. My main hobbies are chess, Muay Thai, reading, and meditation. Just got back from a 10-day meditation retreat in complete silence. Highly recommend you check that out. I went to school at the University of California, Irvine. During that time, it was great. It was living on the beach, which was fun. During that time, I interned in Barcelona as a project manager, as well as in Washington, D.C. as a government affairs consulting internship. My first job out of college was at Snap Inc., helping build their ad algorithms. I chose that specifically for a couple of reasons. Reason one is their campus is really cool. If you're from LA, it's right on Venice Beach, and their structure is they bought a bunch of different houses in the form of a bunch of different work pods. So there's no main campus. You just go around different houses, work with different people. That was fun. The second reason I chose that was it was right before their IPO. So I joined a month before. I wanted to see what that was like, going through something like that with a company. Also fun. Food is great. Energy was high. Everyone was all excited. After my adventure at Snapchat, I figured it was time to get a 9-to-5 job that, I guess, like your typical 9-to-5 job, try to find something that sounds cool, that makes your parents proud, that society pushes. So one of those type of things. So I ended up choosing a bankruptcy consulting firm. So that sounds great on paper. Like if you're in college, your counselors push like, oh, okay, be consultant, lawyer, doctor, that whole thing. So that was the reason I chose that. The goal of the firm was when a company goes bankrupt, like a Fortune 500 company goes bankrupt, you have to decide where all that debt goes. So there's consultants, lawyers, the court, they all work in tandem to decide where that debt goes. The issue with that is there are levels of creditors, meaning that, like, obviously some people get paid out first, the second level gets paid out after that, third, fourth. So there are 4 levels. And what I didn't like about that system was the mom and pops, like me, you, the customer type of thing, they obviously get paid out last just because that's the society we live in, and they get paid out pennies on the dollar. And the incentive structure of the firm, and this is fair to say with all consultants, it's not so much the firm's fault, it's the system we live in. It's like I was personally incentivized to not do the best work possible, but to bill out the most hours. So I'd find myself checking like Excel twice when I didn't really need to, just because, all right, I'll bill out. And then if I were billing out hours, I'll get a good bonus and no one complain. So that was my last stint with the 9-to-5. And at that point, I was really getting into the ethos of Bitcoin, like reading all the podcasts, reading all the books, listening to like the original OGs like Andrea, Stefan Livera, Saifedean. I had a Bitcoin group with my friends. One ended up at Kraken, the others at Coinbase. So we'd have our text group where we'd text each other like tweets, content, podcasts, all that good stuff. And then it'd be like someone like, okay, I just bought $500 worth of Bitcoin. And someone would be like, okay, well, I have to beat that. I'll buy 600. So it was a good time. But the ethos of Bitcoin basically is no rent seeking, like a bring value, earn money, which didn't really align with what I was doing at the consultancy firm. So I waited till my bonus. At that point, I knew I was going to go into Web3 before it was called Web3. I waited for my bonus, quit right after that without a safety plan, then started going to cryptocurrency meetups in my local area, having like Los Angeles, Long Beach, Irvine, that general area. Met the original ShopX team. And we met the original ShopX team. We formed that project. Simultaneously, we started off another startup called CartRev, or Paulinia, different names. What that did was it replaces affiliate codes. So let's say you're a brand, you're on Shopify, you can upload your products to our platform, then anyone can sell any brand's product through one singular link within without taking them off platform. So if I like this Nike shoe, this Adidas hat, this Reebok shirt, I could put them all in a link. You could purchase all of those products within 4 clicks without leaving Instagram. This increases conversions. Brand gets a sale, you get a discount, I get commission, so everyone's happy. At its peak, we had over 100 Shopify brands using our platform, and of course, we leveraged all the knowledge we learned from that into ShopX, which is where it's at today. What ShopX is I want you to think of the Google or Apple of Web3. We're going to be a suite of products where any brand on Shopify or WooCommerce, they can download our app and start earning Web3 benefits. To loop this back to achieving financial freedom, my purpose for getting into Bitcoin and everything is honestly, dude, I want to live a nice, peaceful life. It's much harder to do that in the current monetary climate where I view it as corrupt and like, for example, the Fed and government are taking money from everyone every second of every day in the form of inflation. And I view Bitcoin as a solution to that. And rather than get my mom, my dad into cryptocurrency like after like years of like Thanksgiving and all that stuff, ShopX is a better way for me to do that at scale. So for example, we do have some major clients like Fox Studios, the Mag Park, but like let's say hypothetically a Nike were to use our products or services, their customers would then have incentive to purchase an NFT with e-commerce value without even knowing it's an NFT. And that would onboard a lot of people into Web3 with incentives versus force. And that creates a 0 to 1 moment for a lot of people, thus helping the whole Web3 industry, thus helping the world as a whole, in my opinion. Yeah, that's a long-winded spiel. You have any questions or?
We'll dive in. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So thanks for laying things out on a kind of a linear path there. Let's back up a little bit. Shopx.co that's one of your businesses, correct?
Correct.
Yep. How long has this business been live?
It's been live since around 2016. So funny story. We've actually minted the first ENFT before NFTs were a thing. So we do have street cred in crypto and startup world. So like if you're alive for that long in crypto world, that's honestly,
Sure.
that's a testament. So it's been alive for that long. We survived. This will be our second bear market. So in terms of cryptocurrency, we're veterans.
Right on. Yeah. It's very volatile. Okay. So let's keep going here with this business. How does ShopX make money?
So we have 2 products live, and the ethos behind ShopX is it's better to give than receive. Our first product is ReserveX. That's a NFT powered loyalty program. So if you're a brand, if you're on Shopify, you're on WooCommerce, you can download our app, get the appropriate amount of tokenized software licenses, and then from there you can launch you can launch as many NFT collections with e-commerce value as you want. So let's say you're Nike, you launch a gold, silver, bronze style pass NFT collections just for simplicity's sake. You can add specific products to the gold style pass, specific products to the silver, and vice versa. Or you can like launch, or like gold members could get early access to like LeBron's new shoe or something along those lines. So as a brand, you're creating NFT collections with e-commerce value. You have control over 95% of the funds. So let's say hypothetically a customer purchases one of your NFTs for $100, you immediately get $95 in Ethereum, and you decide which wallets they go to. So if you're working with an influencer, you're working with an agency, you can program them right in so they get their payment. ShopX earns 5% of that. So that's how we earn our revenue. And the cool thing is, again, it's better to give and receive. Our second product is SquadX. That's the first ever blockchain powered ambassador program. So just like Twitter's doing with like their creators, you know how like they share their ad revenue with their creators and their creators get paid in Stripe and they're all happy. So we share our ShopX revenue with SquadX. So if you're a SquadX member, a brand mints one pass for $100, the brand earns 95, ShopX earns $2.5, and then the last $2.5, so 2.5% of the total revenue is distributed amongst the SquadX members. We believe this creates an upward cycle. So as ShopX grows and scales, it gets more and more brands, gets more and more mints. SquadX earns more and more revenue in ETH. So whenever we do pay out, they usually post about it. They're all happy. That's creating more attention around ShopX. That's creating more brands. That's creating more attention around ShopX, creating a nice little upward spiral.
Okay. Well, let's break this down a little bit into like a real use case. Let's say I'm an e-commerce business owner. I'm using Shopify as my main e-commerce engine. Would I go to ShopX and and then I can kind of bolt onto it to sell NFTs. Is that how this works?
Uh, Pretty much. So we're a shop. So we don't want like, so we're a Web 2.5 company, meaning we work within Shopify's platform. So if you're an e-commerce owner, you're on Shopify, you want to launch a NFT collection with e-commerce value, all you would have to do is go to the Shopify App Store, look up the ShopX app,
Mm,
download the app, create an account, and then we keep it directly within platform. So within the platform, you could launch a no-code solution NFT platform. So rather than like hire a Web3 dev,
yeah.
rather than like hire an artist to create your artwork, which honestly runs like 10 to 20K, all you have to do is fill out two simple forms. The first form is like your NFT details, meaning like how much do you want it to cost? What's a description? What's the picture? How
It's
many
like selling
passes?
a product.
Yeah, it's like selling a product. So you create your NFT details, and the second page is just filling out details for an auto-generated landing page. So if you want your customer to purchase your NFT, you just
Mhm.
send them to a link, and the customer has the option to purchase the NFT with Ethereum, through MetaMask, Coinbase Wallet, or all the major wallet platforms. But more importantly, our goal is to make it as simple as possible for the customer. So we've integrated Crossman, meaning customers can purchase the brand's pass with credit card. What's happening in the back end, and the customer doesn't need to know this, is they're technically purchasing Ethereum with credit card. The brand's getting the Ethereum, but all
Mhm.
they see is like they're putting in their credit card numbers and they get their NFT.
Okay. So just to kind of rephrase that back to you, and this what I do at times is I'll kind of talk to the audience and give them context. So Shopify, Salesforce, there's other platforms that have what's called an app store, or it's almost a library of apps you can bolt onto your e-commerce platform. Or with Salesforce, for example, they're a CRM. You can buy different apps within their network. Some are free, some are paid, but you bolt it on to help you do things, make maybe work more efficient or sell or offer upsells or whatever. So with Shopify, I can, as a business owner, I can add ShopX as a bolt on, and then I can sell NFTs through my whole shopping cart. And then the customer, they can buy those NFTs with any kind of, not any kind, but it sounds like a lot of the different crypto coins out there, right?
So you, as a customer wanting to purchase NFT, the only crypto coin we would accept is, or the brand would accept, is Ethereum.
Is
You can
Ethereum.
you can
Okay.
use many of the major wallets, but as a customer, you can also use credit card to purchase the NFT as well.
Got it. So straight up use your credit card. Okay. Now let's get into NFTs a little bit. Do you like, I think of scalability of a business. And when I think of an NFT, you let's let's say it's a poster. Isn't it one of those deals where you sell it once and it's gone? Correct me if I'm wrong here.
So with the NFT, think of it as digital ownership, meaning at one point in time, only one person can own that NFT. So
Right.
for example, if you purchase the brand's NFT and you sell it to me, I am the NFT owner, you're not. So what's cool about this is it's a way for if the brand launches an NFT collection, they can program in royalties. So if you were to sell like Nike's Gold Pass to me and Nike wanted to take a cut, they could program and they would get like whatever percent they want. But for me, I own the NFT. So if you outgrow Nike, you don't want their shoes anymore, you can pass it down to your family members. You can sell for a profit. It's up to you. So let's say you purchase and this has happened in the past, which is one of my
Mhm.
favorite aspects. It's like you purchase like your local Shopify store, they create a pass. You buy it as a way to support. You're an early adopter. You love them. You love the guy. You love the store. It's all wholesome. 20 years down the line, they become the next Lululemon. Theoretically, that pass could increase in value, not financial advice. And then from there, you have the option to sell. So it's a way for brand success to share more with their customers versus like the shareholders.
Okay. Yeah, what I'm doing is I'm thinking about scalability. Like I love SaaS products because it's digital. You can sell
Yeah.
one, you can sell 10,000, you can sell a million, subscriptions, and you're not going to run out. It's just really server load. That's where the costs are applied, and of course, some customer service. If you're helping your customers like you should be,
Yes. Yes.
those costs will increase. Now, with e-commerce, I think of like units. Like a good example is my iPhone. It's a physical unit, one unit. You sell 100, you sell 1,000, 100,000. There's all this plastic and materials, and there's costs against those. Now with an NFT, It's like you put one NFT out there, somebody buys it, it's now under ownership, so you're not selling in mass. That's what I see as a limitation with NFTs. Would that be a correct assumption?
Um, Both yes and no, because within the platform, we're just a technology platform that empowers brands to create NFTs with e-commerce value. However, the brand wants to use that is up to them. So
Okay.
you can create as many NFT collections as you want, and they could have different purposes. For example, like you could have like a gold, silver, bronze style pass where you continuously add value to those
Mhm.
passes, and that'll be a one and done type thing. Or you can create a pass for like a one-time product release. Like we were going to work with a TV show where they would create a NFT for the first episode that redeemed a makeup kit that the NFT holder would then would do their makeup in real time with the star of the show with it like with the exact same specs. So you can create as many
Hmm.
passes as you like. What's really powerful about this is like it really increases conversions and higher customer lifetime values. So once an e-commerce brand is able to sell a NFT pass to their customer, the customer really feels like they're part of the brand. They feel like they own part of the brand because they do own the NFT. So from there,
Interesting.
we've seen like an 80% conversion rate from like the NFT holders. Like if like for example, the brand would release a product, 80% of the NFT holders purchase that product. So it's a great way to make your product sticky and drive repeat customers. An example I like to use is think of it like a timeshare. Whereas let's say I'm staying in Hawaii, I have a timeshare, I own that timeshare. Any of my friends, family, they go to Hawaii, it's like, hey, use my timeshare, you're staying there. Versus if you just kind of stay in a hotel, it's like if I just stay in a hotel, it's just staying there. I don't really care because it's my timeshare. I share about it, and this creates like a community aspect where it's like we've had brands like where they create a community, like they'll create a private membership area for the NFT holders, and then from there you get tons of UGC. You just get tons of benefits. The brand owner goes in there, interacts with them specifically because again, they're the OGs. It creates community, increases
Yeah.
conversions, bunch of stuff.
Got it. So this is starting to make a little more sense to listeners out there. If you know more about NFTs, sorry, I'm trying to catch up. So, um, okay, I get it. Making your business stickier because you can put NFTs on certain products, and those customers feel more ownership over those products or even the business. If there's a particular part of that or part of the business you want to sell an NFT. Now let's get into how you make money. So your ShopX is this app or this plugin within Shopify. I assume, do you generate all or the majority of your revenue through Shopify then?
Yeah, so we're live on Shopify. So if you're a listener and wanted to actually check it out, you can go to Shopify, look at the app. We're in beta with WooCommerce, meaning a WooCommerce brand could use the platform by
Mhm.
downloading a zip file. We're soon to go live with the app there, so we'll be in the App Store soon in on WooCommerce.
Got it. So you're in Shopify. WooCommerce is the second, you could call it marketplace where you're available, right?
Correct. And for your listeners, there are pretty much four major e-commerce platforms. One being Shopify, one being Salesforce Commerce, one being BigCommerce, and the fourth being Woo. As a
Mhm.
business, we chose Shopify first because it has the largest market penetration, so that makes the most sense. And
Yeah.
Woo we thought was the second place to go because A, their integration's easier. Salesforce and uh, BigCommerce are a little more complicated in terms of the tech load, but we
Yeah.
do plan to expand to all four platforms in
Yeah.
the future.
This podcast episode is sponsored by Ticker. Ticker is a platform that helps you manage your own investments with confidence. Check this out. Let's search for Apple. You can see Apple is on sale. That's looking good. Score is 61 out of 100, and margin of safety is 75%. Higher the score, the safer the investment, and the higher the margin of safety, the higher potential returns you can make. In this case, you can see the share price is 175 as of the recording of this video, and the upside potential, the fair value, is 398. All right, let's look at a different stock. We'll go to GameStop. In this case, GameStop is overpriced, scores 39 out of 100. That's not looking too good. And the margin of safety is 0%. Here's some other features within. You can create your own custom dashboard. I like to set up and take a look at the top gainers and losers in the last 24 hours. I also like to take a look at the top search stocks, but you can really customize the dashboard to whatever you want. We have stocks, ETFs, crypto. This is a big one. We have a watch list tool that allows you to add stocks to the watch list, and if anything changes, such as that score or margin of safety, you automatically get notified. I call it the set it and forget it feature. And then we have portfolio trackers and alerts. So if you're looking for strong stocks, want to avoid bad stocks, and learn how to invest, I invite you to join Ticker for free. This is another pause point to talk to the audience. If you're more technical, or you can partner up with somebody technical, building an app or plugin that can go into a network is a great way to move with speed, because you don't have to worry about, like, where do I market? Do I go to Facebook? Do I go to YouTube? Do I spend on Facebook ads? It, you have to answer a lot of those questions, where if you can build an app that solves a problem and put it into this exchange, like these stores like Shopify, Salesforce, you mentioned WooCommerce, and then BigCommerce is the fourth.
I would say big commerce is the fourth. It's subjective. I mean,
okay, sure.
People recognize Shopify as the king, though.
Yeah. Essentially, the more of the story is, get it out there in that app market, and people will automatically find it. I'm assuming there's a science to, the copy and the imagery, and you want to make it pop so people, as they're going through the app exchange market, they're like, that app can solve my problem. Click, add to my business, and you're off and running. Now, with this app, do you charge a one-time fee, or is this a subscription?
Neither. So our pricing model is actually pretty cool. So there are two scenarios. The first is you're you're a store. You just want to use a plug and play solution with no customizations. So like we mentioned earlier, ShopX, it's a free app in the sense there's no subscription model. There's no cost to download the app. ShopX earns its revenue when you succeed and create mints. So if you're creating, like, you create 1 mint for $100, ShopX earns 5. We give half of that to our community. But to gain access to our products and services, ShopX has innovated in this specific way. Our tokens function as tokenized software licenses. So if your brand wanting to use ShopX as a service, you have to have a specific amount of tokenized software licenses in your wallet to gain access. So those are two aspects as a brand wanting to join. So that's for the plug and play solution. Mm-hmm. Of course, the major brands, like, for your listeners available, most major brands do want customizations. Most want bespoke solutions, and that can vary brand by brand. So for those, like for example, Fox Studios' new show Krapopolis, it's going to be a custom solution based on like how much support they provide, how much dev work we need. So that's a case by case basis.
And in that case, do you have like a service arm of your business that you kind of engage, like you said, case by case, like you provide a proposal based on what their needs are, and then go into a multi-month or year project?
Yeah. So on the case by case basis for that, what typically happens is we talk with our dev teams, and then it really depends on the brand. Like, some brands want us to do everything. Some brands will provide the help, whereas we'll like put one of our engineers as team lead. Some brands will recommend us like a third party developer studio, and then ShopX will work with that developer studio and put our guy in charge. So it depends. What typically happens is they'll provide some support or recommend a studio, and we'll have a ShopX engineer kind of run as project manager or work with their project manager.
Yeah, to kind of build it out. Correct. What they're looking for. Yep. Okay. Correct. Gotcha. So with this, I see two different revenue streams within the model. You've got what sounds like a transaction fee model. It's not subscription. It's not a one-time fee. It's a transaction fee. And then you got the service fee. Is that correct?
Yeah, similar. Because they would be paying for a service in the second one.
Correct. Yeah, project-based. All right. Well, let's get into some of the numbers here. Can you give us over? Let's start at the high level, and then we'll kind of break it down per revenue segment. What's the overall revenues of the business?
So we're still getting off the ground in terms of revenue. Mm-hmm. Our main goal right now is to gain partnerships in the space. Like, we are signing brands that are working. The logic behind that is because of the general crypto market sentiment. So, for example, for the past 2 years, we've talked to many brands. And I'll use like a live example of this literally happening. Like, we're talking to many brands. There's the brand itself are excited, but since we're B2B2C, the brand can be as excited as they want. They could do whatever they want with the platform, but if their customers aren't excited, it's going to be a failure. So with Impact Wrestling, if you know WWE, they're like a version of the WWE. They had everything set up. They created their past details. They had the licenses. They had everything ready to go. They launched their PR release. It happened to be right around FTX. For your listeners who don't know, it's a giant scammer in crypto who tanked market sentiment. So right around there, they launched, and then they got ratioed pretty hard in their comments saying like, we don't want NFTs. NFTs are scams, blah blah blah. Which a lot of cases are right. So a lot of brands are thinking that way. So we're more focused on being the ones to go to once market turns around and general crypto sentiment is on the positive. So to answer and to go back to your
Mm-hmm.
question,
Mm-hmm.
it really varies month by month because we're like the bespoke solutions, like those, like especially for like a major brand, those take forever. There's a lot of moving parts.
Mm-hmm.
All the payments don't come in one
It's a
go.
service
Yeah,
business. Yeah.
yeah, and like something could come up within the tech that's no one's fault, but another charge comes up. So that's really subjective in terms of overall revenue. Sometimes it's less than 10K, sometimes it's more. But
Per
I would say,
month.
yeah, per month. So I want to say it's
Okay.
around there, but again,
Okay.
give or take.
And give me a percentage split. Is it like 75% service bespoke side, or is it a higher percentage on the transaction fee side?
And to give you a split, probably around 80-20 on the bespoke side, just because that's where we're at.
Yeah.
But we do suspect our hypothesis, we think that'll change once with crypto and Web3 becomes more mass adopted and more
Yeah.
people are just downloading the app and using it like organically. And for that to happen, we have to make it easier to use. So there are some steps we have to take to make that the ideal solution. And if we're trying to drive Web3 mass adoption, I personally would like it to be more of the transaction model, meaning we're only going to make money if brands are succeeding. Brands are only succeeding if the customers want their product. So,
Yep. I see a lot of it's to simplify what you're doing, it's almost like an agency. The majority of your revenue is coming from the service side. You're doing software engineering, you're doing some custom work. I see a lot of pretty successful products start there. Like they start with
correct.
a service, they're making changes, they're making updates, customizations for customers. And then the product side, that reoccurring revenue or the transaction fee, it has a slow start, but all of a sudden you can hit that inflection point. Like you land on a product that everybody's like, that's what I'm looking for. And then it can kind of take off like a rocket. So you're on that journey driving toward that point.
Yeah, you're 100% right. Long term, we do want to be a tech solution where a brand
Mm-hmm.
could come in, just use our product very simply, get the benefits, customers are happy. Where we're at right now is just because Web3 is kind of new. We are offering a bunch of services, and sometimes it's tech, sometimes it's like marketing, sometimes it's really just everything because we want the brand to be successful. The plus side about that is we're learning a lot from the brands and the customers using the product. And obviously, like the more feedback you have, the better. So like you said, it usually does start off in a individual case by case, like agency model, although we don't want to be an agency model. So we're trying to work with more agencies, but that's really what it is if you want to get your first big customers. And then the software, like you see some market adoption, you see some successful use cases, and then from there it becomes like a plug and play solution, which is what we're aiming for.
Exactly. That's a long-term play. And what you're doing is exactly right. Is you want to, it's not glamorous. It's like, hey, who wants to wake up and be like, I want to do an agency the rest of my life? And some people, yes, but it's not that scalable of a model. But the win
Correct.
is you're on the front line talking to the customer, finding out what are your pain points, what are you looking for, and that's the win. Getting that data, understanding what people want, and then feeding that into your software engineering efforts to create that scalable plugin for the four major platforms you mentioned. That, sounds like you're on your way. It's going to be a little bit of work, but that's the same thing I would do.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. And honestly, the customer feedback is the most important part of our business model right now, or at least what I would say.
Yeah.
And they will tell you if something's wrong.
That's what you want.
Yeah,
As well, with Ticker, we tell our customers, please don't hold back. Like, what are we doing wrong? What can we do better? Because I don't want to spend years thinking about it. I want to know in like days, like a definitive answer and then move forward on it. Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Cool. Well, this is good, Eric. This is really good context. I'm going to jump into the rapid fire round here in a second, but just to summarize for the audience, as you could see here, as I ask questions, this is kind of an unknown territory for me, NFTs. I don't know a whole lot, but I do know a lot about these app exchange platforms, app stores like I mentioned, Shopify, Salesforce. Seriously, if you want to create a business, I have seen people that they'll create an app for like Salesforce Exchange. They'll put it up. They're not even marketing it anywhere else. They just put it up into that exchange. And then businesses start using it. They start rating it because there's typically ratings on these apps. And more people start finding it. It's like you could have one app on one exchange and you could be generating some serious passive income. And in some cases, I've seen businesses sell for a few $100,000, or I should say not so much businesses. These apps sell for a few $100,000 up to a few million. It's a smart play.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Let's jump into the rapid fire round. This is the part of the episode where we get to find out who Eric really is. If you can, try to answer each question in 15 seconds or less. You ready?
Let's get it.
All right. What is your favorite podcast?
Joe Rogan.
Nice.
Yeah.
Popular. All right. What is a recent book you read and would recommend?
Reading wise, I'm an avid reader. I usually read 4 to 5 at a time just because I like to jump around. I just read Power versus Force by David R. Hawkins. It's fantastic. It highlights that power is sustainable in the sense both of us win because we're both winning and you can keep going. And force is not sustainable because you can force someone to do something, but if one party's benefit, it's eventually going to fail. And we've really taken that to our ethos with ShopX.
I will look it up. That is intriguing. All right. What is your favorite movie? And I know before we hit record, we're talking about TV shows, so we can deviate to a TV show. But what is your favorite movie or TV show?
Favorite TV show, anime wise, One Piece. Non-anime wise, The Boys.
Nice. There you go.
Yeah.
As we talked about, The Boys on Amazon. Fantastic.
Boys is a great show. Check it out. It's entertaining. A little raunchy, but
yes, it's good. All right. What is the worst advice you ever received?
Just don't be being in scarcity, meaning you have to win, you have to take from someone else, which you don't.
Right. I love that. All right, flip that equation. What is the best advice you ever received?
Be authentic. In terms of authenticity, everyone's put on this universe for one purpose, and I'm the best Eric Mchugh ever. You're the best Sean ever.
Sure.
If you're going to be a creator, everyone's a conscious creator, whether they know it or not. Create without A, harming people, and B, without taking away from people. If you do those two things, you should be fine because karma exists.
Right on. Love it. All right. And last question here is a time machine question. If you could go back in time to give your younger self advice, what age would you visit and what would you say?
Oh God, this is a big cringe. I would go back to 2010 and tell myself to buy Bitcoin.
I've had the same answer, I think 3 or 4 times before.
Yeah, just buy it.
Nice. All right, Eric, where can the audience reach you?
The best place to reach me is and learn more about ShopX's ShopX website, shopx.co. On Instagram, our Instagram is ShopX Labs. My personal is Eric D. Mchugh. Twitter, ShopX Labs. Twitter account, Eric Mchugh0. And I'm available. My goal is to be as helpful as possible. So if you have any questions about just ShopX, general Web3 questions, or just want to chat, just shoot me a DM or email me at eric@shopx.co.
Awesome. All right, Eric. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you for listening. Really had fun.
We'll see you.